Keshav Agarwal, one of the recommendations made by this committee which came up with this report is that there needs to be a robust counseling mechanism that has to be placed in all institutions, whether it be school or colleges or higher institutions here. Is that simply feasible in a country like here? Because I like to put out the graphic of the states where these deaths have been considered. As our friend Ankit was also telling us, a lot of these suicides are not reported because they happen in rural areas. They happen for people with very little access to means. They are not studying in top tier schools and top tier colleges which can afford to have a counseling or a psychologist on call to deal with these students here. How do we even try and come up with a robust counseling mechanism in an education system and make it part of the education system which has been recommended here?
Right. See, I have been actually studying a lot about this. The report has come, but I'll share my experience because that is at the ground level. First, if you see the Mr. Majumdar report or suggestion, 6% of GDP was proposed in 1954 for education. And it was proposed now in 2020 NEP. So first you understand how much importance is given. Now, second thing is the first pressure comes to a child, especially though what at a lower level, that is parents have that expectation. But what I feel, the real career starts when the 10th board comes. So that is the first time you will see a school student getting into the pressure or the phobia of board. And right after that, I'm talking of academic stress. We don't have those facilities of clearing entrance. Now, today, one of the major reason is demand and supply gap. I'll give you a very small example and you will understand. The NEET exam, for example, has 23 lakh students applying and only 1 lakh 8,000 seats. And out of that, 56 government. So you see, 56,000 seats for this many students. Now comes the pressure of performance. And you can imagine 56,000 is hardly any 0.25% of that. When student doesn't perform, year after year he drops, the frustration creeps in. And as a result, there are two stress, success stress as well as financial stress. Now, as you said, there is a migration there from rural to urban also. After 10, a lot of children go out because in their particular town or city, those facilities are not there. They have to stay away from home. And when they stay away from home, their mental state is very different. And here there are two things. One is they get into distractions as a child when he goes out. Second is the exam pressure, the performance pressure. And government hasn't done anything to reduce it, rather it is increasing it. Now,
but Keshav Agarwal,
example,
let me be the devil's advocate here. You say the crux of your point, Mr. Agarwal, is that we are creating a situation where our students are dealing or having to confront pressure right from class 10 instead. Some would cynically say that's life. For instance, a few years ago, when we had removed board exams from class 10 and brought in a grade-based system, the criticism came in that students are not prepared for class 12 and the entrances, which are a far bigger challenge. At least class 10 gives them the opportunity to deal with pressure. Similarly, if you say that students who can't deal with the pressure of coming out, staying outside their families and coming to different urban cities and studying, tomorrow they will have to get jobs in these urban cities and stay away from their houses as well. And they will not be equipped because they haven't learned how to deal with pressure. They haven't learned how to go through the process of adulting.
Now, see, the problem here is you will not find the suicides happening in all entrances. Now, you see, you have to think beyond medicine, doctors, and engineering. The problem of counseling is that we don't give students option. There is law option, there is architecture, there is design, there is dietitian, so many things. But we make them forced to study something they are not made for. As a result, many of them don't perform. And then the student is caught in such a situation like what to do. Now, that is where the counseling comes into picture, which we are discussing. That if proper counseling is given and parents don't, there is a parental expectation, which is one of the major cause. They force the child to study something he is not meant for. They don't have a choice. Most of the kids are not given a choice. They are told that tumko ye karna hai. That is where you see the real. They are not decision makers. They don't have any financial independence. And now I'll tell you, have you seen any suicide in CLAT exam? After 10th, 12th? No. NATA, architecture? No. Why the suicides
Okay.
don't happen there? Why suicides come into this NEET, IIT, medical? The number of seats are less. Today, you make 10 lakh medical seats. The suicides will come half. The pressure will go down. But why government is having only 56,000 seats after 55 years or after 75 years of
Fair
independence?
enough.
There is a big question mark. And you have seen one more thing. So many students
All
went
right. So, Dr.
out
Bami,
to
one of
study.
the reasons which of okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Bami, one of the reasons which Keshav Agarwal is pointing out also been cited in this report as hyper-focused career choices. Youth don't believe or know of an option beyond engineering, beyond medicine, beyond MBAs, or beyond UPSC for that matter, and that is something which leads to a massive amount of pressure in terms of bottleneck, in terms of lakhs of aspirants and just a few thousand seats. Do you agree that that is a systemic problem that needs to be resolved?
Yes, I think what is very important at a systemic level is to resolve that problem. And at an individual level, I think we need to promote an open communication. We need to encourage open conversations about what a student really wants to do. And they should feel safe to be able to first identify without judgment and express it, starting at the family level. And thereby, on a systemic level, we should then try and see what can we do to even provide them that kind of support. So one support could be that schools and parents should focus on creating a balanced academic environment, emphasizing personal growth and learning over just merely grades, which then makes them very, very competitive. And when they're not able to reach that competitiveness, then it kind of leads them to feeling helpless, hopeless, and leading them to poor coping strategies. Another thing I think we should do is we should foster good social connections. We should encourage students to build strong, supportive relationships with their peers and teachers in addition to their family members. And of course, we should address things like peer pressure and bullying. At a systemic level, we should implement anti-bullying programs and create a school culture where there are kindness and inclusivity which is prioritized. We should better educate on coping mechanisms. And I think very important at a systemic level, we should enhance the mental health resources that we should be able to provide to our students. Starting with educational institutions or schools, they should provide easy access to mental health resources, including not just counseling services, but even maybe something like a peer support program. And I think it's very important, especially in times of today where the whole system is in flux, that regular mental health screenings can help identify at-risk students earlier. And then we will not have this kind of
very valid suggestions coming in, Dr. Bami.
On our mental health psyche.
Those are some very valid suggestions coming in, Doctor. And I'll let Ankit have the last word because Ankit is actually in the line of fire. I shouldn't be using these terms because these create psychologically a setup of pressure. Ankit, do you feel today that you are being surrounded by a comforting, nurturing environment? If not, what would you want in your daily life which you feel would help you focus more on academics or even then focus more on making yourself feel better and live better?
Want to club two things here. First, the most important learning center for a child is the household, and our society not that much mature to handle this mental issues. When someone goes to someone to tell this, I am facing some type of mental issue, we call it dimag chal gaya hai, pagal ho gaya. So we make the taboo out of that. In that condition, student will not share the thing with anyone, with the family, with the relatives, and it will keep in his mind. And this will create a very distressful situation where he or she knows what he and she can do in a minute. If you see this, the society thing is just a bit of you take a decision to take your life and you just take it. So we don't take these things very seriously at societal level. First of all, things should be changed at our household level itself. Family should understand these mental issues are very real. We usually don't take it very seriously unless we lost someone from our house or someone from our society or surrounding. True. So first thing, I think society and these parents need to be changed, and we should be as a student, I should, or my colleagues, or even my juniors and seniors, they always say ki we should have an open communication, as ma'am has said already, ki we need an open communication where we can say what we are feeling
Yeah,
right now.
we need a supportive peer network as well.
Yes.
And yes, we need a supportive peer network. We need a more supportive understanding at the family level that, of course, leads awareness. It's a battle that has to be fought on multiple levels, at the community level, at the personal level, and at the governmental level here. But we would like to just say that two things. One is, we are now going to put out a helpline on our screens for anyone, for any of your viewers who might be finding it a bit difficult dealing with their academics or may know someone who may need help. We have put out a list of resources on the screens. Please feel free to take a screenshot of it and reach out to these helplines. And there's a website there as well. You'll be directed to state level helplines as well. There are resources available to you, and we hope that no one ever ends their life in the absence of these resources here. Dr. Bhavna Barmi, Keshav Agarwal, and Ankit Singh Chauhan, thank you so much for joining us on this very important debate.